When the fog rolls through the northern moors, people say the ground remembers. Clara Hart, a 24-year-old psychology graduate from London, accepted an assistant research post at the Hollow Vale Academy for Girls, a remote boarding school in Northumberland. The institution was known for reforming difficult students. Her train stopped at a half abandoned station. The driver refused to go further. Past Hollow Vale, he muttered. Don't stay after dark. She walked through the rest of the way through a long, mist filled path. The academy emerged like a ghost from the fog. Stone towers, ivy choked walls, and bells that chimed slightly off key. The headmistress, Mrs. Elias Warren, welcomed her with a smile too still to be sincere. You find the girls spirited, she said. Clara's duties were simple: observe therapy sessions, assist in the academy, emotional restoration program. But every night, one of the girls screamed. One, Isla, refused to sleep in her bed. Another, Nina, claimed her dreams took place inside her old chapel, even though the chapel had been sealed for decades. When Clara asked Mrs. Crowthorne about it, the woman's tone darkened. Never speak of that place, she said. But in her room that night, Clara heard faint chanting beneath the floorboards. Not one voice, dozens. While going through the files in the east wings, Clara found a locked drawer. Inside, old student profiles from the 1950s. Every file ended with the same phrase, transferred to the chapel care. No records existed after that. She brought it up with another staff member, Mrs. Denholm, who simply whispered, The chapel isn't sealed, it's waiting. That night she saw light through the chapel's stained glass, a dim orange glow, shadows moving inside. During a storm, power went out. The academy filled with whispers again. Clara followed the sound to the basement corridor. The walls were damp, old, craving beneath the paint, faces half erased, mouths open. The whispers grew louder as she pressed her ear to the wall. A small crack revealed an eye looking back. Clara stumbled backward. Behind the wall was a hollow space, a hidden passage. She squeezed through, flashlights trembling. At the end, the chapel door from the inside. The room was filled with old desks and wax figures. Students posed in rows, all head bowed as if in prayer. But when her light moved, one blinked. A faint hum filled the air. The altar was covered in dozens of names carved into stones, each one a girl who had transferred. At the center, a mirror blackened with soot. The reflection shifted. For a moment, Clara saw herself, then another version, smiling wider, whispering, You came back. Clara's last journal entry was dated October 3rd, 2025. The girls aren't ill. They're vessels. The staff isn't teaching them. They're feeding something. If I vanish, don't look for me. The mirror will find its next reflection soon. The academy closed the next month. Official reason, structural instability. But the locals still say that when the fog returns, light flickers through the chapel windows, and sometimes, if you stand near the old walls, you can hear someone calling your name in your own voice. It had been 7 years since the Hollow Vale Academy closed. No one went near the property now. Locals said the fog never left the moors, and sometimes light still burned in the chapel even though there was no power. Evelyn Rose, a 30-year-old investigative journalist from London, arrived at the site with her small crew to film a documentary on the lost institutions of Britain. Her producer, Tom, joked about the ghost. The sound engineer, Maya, didn't laugh. Emily wasn't there just for the story. She had a personal reason. Her older sister, Clara Hart, had disappeared here. The iron gates screeched open like something exhaling. The building loomed tall and hollow, its window blackened, ivy hanging like veins. Inside, their flashlights caught glimpses of long corridor and decayed classrooms still lined with desks, papers, and abandoned journals. Maya set up a mic. "It's picking something up," she said, like breathing. Emily froze. None of them were talking. When they played it back, a faint whisper bled through the static. "Leave, while the walls still know your name." They found a basement office where files were stored in locked cabinets. One drawer was rusted shut. Tom forced it open, and inside were old therapy reels labeled only by date. The first reel crackled with Clara's voice. "Session long. Subject: Isla. Symptoms worsening. Reports of the mirror figures. Auditory hallucinations. Requests removal from chapel sessions." The next recording was older, a distorted male voice. If they see their reflections long enough, they begin to remember what was taken from them. Emily's blood ran cold. She had never heard Clara sound afraid until the last time. "Sometimes in the class, I don't think it's a reflection anymore." The reel ended abruptly with a long thud, then a scream. They followed the underground tunnel marked on an old map. It led straight to the sealed chapel, exactly as Clara described in her notes. But the sealed door was cracked open. Inside, dust floated like ash. The wax figures were gone, replaced by the rows of old mirrors, each one fractured and blackened. Maya gasped. Her mic picked up, whispering again, hundreds of voices overlapping. "We are what remains. We are what remembers." Then Tom saw something in one of the mirrors, his reflection. But not quite. It was grinning. Then it moved on its own. He staggered back. "It's copying me wrong." The mirror shattered outwards, not inwards. Tom collapsed. His pulse stopped. His reflection stayed, standing. Emily and Maya fled, but every hallway looped back. When they finally reached the exit, they found the same office again, except now the photographs on the wall had changed. Where the staff portraits were once, now stood Clara's face, dressed in the academy uniform, smiling faintly. Behind them, a voice spoke. Clara was chosen because she looked into the mirror too long. Mrs. Crowthorne stepped out of the dark, unchanged since the old photos. Her eyes glowed faintly silver. "The veil doesn't bury its dead, Miss Rose. It keeps the reflections alive. Would you like to see yours?" She turned a small hand mirror towards Evelyn. In the reflection wasn't her face, but Clara's, mouth moving, whispering, "You shouldn't have come." The next morning, local police found the cruise van empty near the old station. The only thing recovered was a camera, still recording, facing the academy gate. In the final seconds of footage, the fog thickened and the chapel bells began to toll. A shadow moved inside the gate. It looked like Evelyn, until it turned, and her face was perfectly mirrored, features reversed, smiling backwards. The screen went black. 2 weeks later, the unfinished documentary aired online for a few hours before being taken down, but those who saw it swear the footage changed each time they replayed it, sometimes showing Evelyn, sometimes Clara, sometimes someone else entirely staring back through the lens. And every copy, no matter the device, ended with the same faint whisper in the background. "Every reflection must be claimed," they said. The Hollow Vale Academy was just another abandoned school, a place the fog forgot, but inside its walls time never stopped, and the mirrors still remembered every soul they looked into them. 3 years after the last disappearance, Detective Elias Warren came to end the mystery. No camera, no crew, no reporters, just one man and a building full of whispers. On the wall, he found words scratched into the plaster. The mirrors are not glass, they are windows hidden beneath the academy. Elias found the truth. Hollow Vale was never a school, it was a research facility experimenting on the human mind. The founders believed trauma could be removed by splitting consciousness through reflection. They thought they were healing people, but every time they did it, something came out on the other side. Beneath the chapel, Elias found the black mirror. It wasn't the glass anymore, it was alive. When he stared into it, a voice spoke back, not his, Clara's. They used us as a vessel. The reflections are pieces of us, desperate to return, and behind her, hundreds of faces pressed against the glass. To end it, he had to destroy the mirror, but Clara screamed from the other side, "If you break it, we all die." One voice begged him to stop. Another whispered, "Break it, and I'll be free." He swung the hammer. The mirror shattered. The academy screamed. They found him weeks later, alive but changed. Every mirror in the building had turned black, except one shred, still reflecting. When he picked it up, it smiled before he did. A year later, his final report appeared online, only for a few hours. At the end, Elias whispers, "We didn't destroy it, we only freed it." And if you pause the video right before the static ends, you can still see her standing behind him, smiling from the inside mirror.